Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Briefcase The Barn, episode 54. The series
over a year
of the Curious
longest
show,
year of my life,
where we talk about business, life, Christianity, and more. Gary is showed up and he smells like a barn. So Briefcase in the Barn.
I've been in the
Definitely
barn all day.
Smells like shit in here.
Multiple barns, different countries even.
Okay, in the U.S.
Pretty
as well.
interesting, actually. Yeah, busy
And
day.
I'm still hurting. Like, man, these chairs suck for sciatic. These are like the worst chairs to sit in.
Yeah,
It's like the
just
angle.
the slope is just bad.
It's just painful. Anyways,
Interesting weekend.
you had someone tell you this morning that they don't listen anymore.
No, they did not say that. They might listen and just be angry.
Oh, okay. Oh, they still might listen,
Well, I
but they
have
just
no
won't do
idea.
business with you.
They won't do business with me, which is whatever. That's fair and sad. That would be my general consensus.
Okay.
And
You don't need to
just
hold
kind of
you don't need to hold the mic, eh?
Just gonna make a bolt for it. I'm gonna get out of here. No, it just made me kind of really disappointed because I'm just not out to offend people, right? I'm offensive even when I'm not trying to be offensive, which just speaks to how
People are
pathetic my
people are
character
so sensitive.
and I think people are just you're not wrong. People are sensitive. We're all sensitive, eh?
Some more than others. I would say you're more sensitive than me.
I don't agree with that.
No, that's fine.
No, you would like to think that because you say whatever you want, but I mean, if people say
Not
whatever
because
they
they
want
say
to you,
whatever I
if people say whatever they want to you,
But
you're pretty sensitive.
But by how I respond to it. If someone gives you criticism, you go whap. You go jabbing back hard.
No, I tuck my tail between my legs and run
No,
away.
you don't. You do that afterwards.
I don't know. It just bothered me, right? I was like, not because I lost a customer, but more, it was just like the idea of, somebody listening to something I said and then like being pissed off. Like, when you're bitter towards someone, it's like drinking poison, expecting the other person to die. Of course, now
Yes.
I know about it, but as a general rule, I only found this out because some intermediary was enlightening me, right?
Yeah, fair
And
enough.
anyways, it was cool because he told the guy, he said, "Oh, you should just talk to Gary." Yeah, I know I should. So we're halfway there, right? It'll probably happen now.
One day.
And I will repent for any way that I was hurting someone because I know I do it often. There's a lot of interesting show notes today.
Yeah, I got a whole list because I organized it properly so we're not all over the place. I thought we would start with, so we are over a year now. And so I asked Ram, our awesome editor, to put together a bunch of clips.
Can we do that at the end later?
No,
I feel like if we watch that now, I won't want to do the rest of the podcast.
Okay, sure, we'll do it at the end.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure. Sure, we'll do it.
I never watch only when Matt's on, then I get to watch it.
Okay, so we'll start with Gentle and Lowly. We're back. We're going to finish the book.
Kyle's going to give his running tutorial on the synopsis.
Did you read the chapter? Or you half listened to it?
To be fair.
Okay, so if you guys are new here, we've been like 5 episodes ago, we stopped for a little bit, had a little break. But we're reading Gentle and Lowly. It's a book called The Heart of Christ for Sinners and Sufferers by Dane Ortland. I wanted to read it because I think it's important that we know who God is and his actual character, because otherwise we won't go to him. And so we're on chapter 16. We're going to finish the book. One chapter a week. How many chapters are left? How many chapters? I think 23 chapters.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah. So this chapter is titled The Lord, a God merciful, gracious, and slow to anger. It's quite interesting because it talks about how the God of the Old Testament is actually the same as the God of the New Testament, which is not what I would have said.
It's not how people talk about it either.
That's right.
People that defend things that I think are indefensible never talk about the Old Testament.
Yeah.
Right? They always just go to certain verses like the Sermon on the Mount and stuff.
That's right. And so how he talks about it, he talks about Exodus 34, 6 and 7, which is right after God reveals himself to Moses through like when he's in a cleft of a rock, whatever. Mm-hmm. And God gets described as, I quote, "The Lord, a God merciful and gracious, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness." And so the chapter shows and talks about how that the God that is described as gentle and lowly in the New Testament is also the same God as the Old Testament, and that he first always gets described first and foremost as someone that is forgiving, gracious, slow to anger, willing to forgive. And naturally, that's not how we view God, because that's not who we are as people. And we humanize God and expect him to be like if I do that, he's going to come after me. But you see, like, you know, the Israelites too, and like in the wilderness, he kept being gracious to them, and over and over and over.
Part that stood out to me, there's a couple. I'll just read a quote here. The Christian life, from one angle, is the long journey of letting our natural assumption about who God is over many decades fall away, being slowly replaced with God's own insistence on who he is. This is hard work. It takes a lot of sermons and a lot of suffering to believe that God's deepest heart is merciful and gracious, slow to anger. The fall in Genesis 3 not only sent us into condemnation and exile, it entrenched in our minds dark thoughts of God, thoughts that are only dug out over multiple exposures to the gospel over many years. Perhaps Satan's greatest victory in your life today is not the sin in which you regularly indulge, but the dark thoughts of God's heart. Or if I could say it in my own language, it would be just not realizing really who God is, right? And so just interesting, kind of been my experience, even in my own life, just not, you know, having this basically false idea of who God was, and then just thinking it was kind of like the penalty box mentality, and then perpetually running away from God, right? Because I'm just feeling like such a piece of crap and so horrible. And there was, I think you already read the other line that stuck out to me, but
I think especially churches do this a lot, right? Like when someone sins, or there's a public sin or whatever, and there's shame on that sin, and they get called out and talked about and this and that, like, you're going to get the idea of like, that's also who God is, that when you sin, he's going to be like, oh no, not again. That's what he did. Like, that's what our response is, right? Like, we just like roll our eyes and stuff like that, but his response is.
Well, and as Christians, I mean, I think it's the scripture says that our sins, it's like they're thrown into the sea of forgetfulness, right? And we can't at all wrap our heads around that, because as humans, like, it's just fascinating how we keep score and we keep record of wrongs against people, right?
Yeah.
And we even talk about it. It's like the 3 strikes and you're out. And it's like, how many times are we going to be gracious? And we have these conversations with work and family and friends of just like, hey, how much crap do we put up with? And we talk about how we need to have boundaries, right?
Yeah.
But to be Christ-like is to be forgiving when not deserved, right? And so that's just a crazy concept for those of us on the human being tour. So anyways, it was a good chapter. I will admit I didn't ponder on it as much as I have often, but we'll stick with it now and get through this book and move on to, I've had people recommend all different kinds of books that we should go through. So. Yeah. I thought The Treasury Principle.
The Treasury Principle. Yeah, it's like the short version.
The short version of the other book I'm
reading. That's
okay.
Right,
I had, there was interesting, sorry, you were going to say something? Well, I was going to say, you had it in the show notes. I think you put it in about the couple that got caught in their affair. And why did you put it in the show notes?
Because it was all over the internet for like 3-4 days.
Yeah. I found it really disappointing.
What part?
That it was all over the internet the way it was.
Yeah. I mean, everyone mocked him. I felt awful for, especially the spouses of those people, because they feel the most shame around this, right? Like they're just as exposed now. Like, who's the other person? So all the eyeballs are on them, and it's just super, super hard on them. Mm-hmm. But also the fact that, okay, these guys got caught. There's so much sin that everyone has in their life that if it got exposed,
it's bizarre.
You would hide just as fast.
We would all hide, yeah. No,
I found and hop out of the way. And
I found it really disturbing how much glee people get from it. I also feel like, kind of along the lines of what you're saying, just the idea of like people being so, I guess as Christians, I'm thinking, boy, like it's the epitome of gossiping to kind of be sharing something super dry. And there again, like I get, the memes are funny and I get where people are coming from with the jokes. I just felt like, it's such carnage, and marriage is so hard already. Like people, like I'm sure lots of people, they have kids, and lots of people listening, their marriages, they're probably barely hanging on. And just the idea of like people mocking you publicly.
Or they're secretly having affairs, or they're doing all kinds of other shit.
Anyways, I'm just a huge fan of people staying married, even when it's hard, even when it sucks. And I just think that people need all the help they can get and the encouragement they can get and the challenging they can get. And the idea of like, hey, let's just put something on all over. And there again, it's just the bizarre world we live in. In 2025, when something like that, like think of the 100 years ago where like it would probably just wouldn't make it out of your town, right? Like I'm sure there's all kinds of kept going. There's nothing new under the sun. Like there was scandal then, but well, no, I think things would come to light then too. But just the idea of the whole world thinking this is funny or and I don't know. It's
so I have a great segue into this, which is Psalm 32, which I read this week, which really stuck out to me. And so this obviously causes a lot of guilt and shame and all kinds of other things like that, right? So how do we deal with that? So this is Psalm 32. I'll read it. Oh, what joy for those whose disobedience is forgiven, whose sin is put out of sight. What joy for those whose record the Lord has cleared of guilt, whose lives are lived in complete honesty. I think that is important, that the last part, complete honesty. So a lot of people that live in like 95% honesty, they're like, we even know them as like pretty honest people. Well, that's a really honest person, but they have that 5% they're not telling anybody about.
Aren't you just dishonest then if there's 5% you're not being honest about, or how would you?
Yeah, but it can be perceived as, like I'm an honest person, right? You can sell yourself on the fact like I'm an honest person, even though you hide 5%, right? I agree that's not an honest person, but you can give that assumption to people. But I just love the point here is just like what joy for those whose disobedience is given and whose lives are lived in complete honesty and lives are cleared of guilt. And then it says in verse 3, when I refused to confess my sin, my body wasted away and I groaned all day long. Day and night your hand of discipline was heavy on me. My strength evaporated like water in the summer heat. And so it talks about what happens when you don't confess your sin, which a lot of people do. And you can see that like a shell of themselves because they're holding these things in. They're not talking about it. They're not confessing it. And you just like, you start retreating. You start like, when you don't do that. And then it closes with, finally, I confess all my sins to you. And I stopped trying to hide my guilt. And I said to myself, I will confess my rebellion to the Lord. And you forgave me and all my guilt is gone. And it just talks again about that solution. And then the rest of the psalm talks about that. It's a great psalm, Psalm 32. I'm reading it in a New Living Translation. But I know there's people listening that have unconfessed sin in that they're wasting away. And like the answer to that is like these people, it wasn't my own experience.
It's pretty hard to bring it to light. It's like,
where
do you even start? Who do you talk to? Somebody that you think that's what's interesting actually. You talk to people when they finally come clean, which people often do, especially through freedom sessions. That's usually where people finally get honest. Yeah. And you always ask them who they're going to share their stuff with or who would be that person. It's always someone who doesn't always have it all together. So it's fascinating, or they perceive doesn't have it all together. Yeah. I mean, that person is probably just doing as well as anyone else. But, we have this idea of how we view people. And it's always most comfortable just kind of going towards people.
That's why I went to
like my best. That's right. That makes sense. You knew I was screwed up.
Well, you were open about it, right? That's the key thing is you were open about it. I've been talking about this with more people and they're like, well, I don't want to share. Not everyone has to know my sin. Like,
who cares, man? Good grief. Get over yourself.
You're Romans 3. Your heart's like an open grave. Like just open. But anyway, there's joy. So if you're missing joy in your life and you want to have like real joy, from my own experience, confess it. Get real. There is forgiveness. So anyways, on that note though, you also had a note in there that you put in, the unforgivable sin. Talking about
it came up in conversation. We were at a get together after church on Sunday at someone's house. We really got in the weeds. This was with your friend Matt.
Okay. He invited me like 10 minutes before the party.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, okay.
But then he still said you and Chris showed up, and I was like, wow, that's impressive.
Everybody was
Sunday afternoons, right?
Yeah. Well, I went to my parents' church Sunday morning.
Oh,
so that was kind of cool.
Are you allowed to say what church that is?
Yeah, I can say where he goes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for your form. It was great.
Why'd you go there?
A friend of mine, his baby was baptized, so he invited me. So
sprinkled.
We were not going to get into that. Not right now. Another time. But it was it was a great sermon, and it was
on that note. So I have my friend Pete that I used to work with. When I worked with him, I still went to Baptist church, Pado Baptist Church, get infant baptism, and he was an adult Baptist. And he'd always say to me, like, you just like running through the sprinkler on Sundays. And he'd tell me you just like swimming on Sundays.
Oh my.
Or I tell him that.
No, I think it's just the idea of like, when you're, there's just a lot of history there and a lot of, the understanding. So obviously,
anyways,
that was a rabbit trail. It's a great sermon. It was very interesting for me. I'd been to funerals there since, but I don't think I'd been to church, to a regular Sunday morning service there in, I want to say 20 years. I could totally be wrong.
Oh, wow.
I could be wrong. Maybe I went at some point.
Yeah.
But, no, so it was nice. I took one of my kids, and it was just nice. It's the second time I went to church with my parents and as an adult, which is just kind of interesting, right? Like I for years hadn't. So that was cool. And obviously a lot of people that I know and a lot of friends and stuff. So
they convinced you to come back?
Pardon?
They didn't convince you to come back?
No, it didn't. But I mean, it's like I said to my wife, like, I think this is actually what really bothers me about, and I talk about it on here, just the idea of people being so what's tribal about churches. Like you just go to that service and it was just a great sermon, right? Like, there was, like I say, obviously the baptism piece I don't totally agree with, but the entire sermon and the gospel it was just an amazing sermon. So like I felt like he wrapped up the sermon by like just calling people to repentance, and he just did it in a great way, right? And it just bothers me when we're just this idea of we have to have so many, like that was another thing we talked about Sunday afternoon. It's like how many churches are in our town where we live. There's probably like 100,000 people, and there's got to be 80 churches, like, and not 80 separate churches that are all, no, like 80 churches that have split hairs to the extent where they all think they're doing it right, and they're just doing it a little, they
and then I heard
a little bit different, right? So,
and there's still more and more churches coming because a lot of churches aren't doing outreach. So a lot of churches have their members go to their church, and they're not growing, but they don't actually reach out to the community and try to get more people in, because there's a lot of different churches, but there's very little outreach actually to the people of Chilliwack happening.
Yeah, and that's hard too, because some people will do outreach in a way where another church or people would say, well, like you're becoming like the culture, and it's like, well, that's a gray area. Like there's you know what I mean? Like
well, I think outreach first of all starts with your neighbors, but
yeah, and so I think that if I feel how we would do missions at our church, I would feel like that's where it would start. And it's actually been a conviction of mine. I've talked about it probably on here, where it's like way too many of my friends are solid Christians and people that are doing really well. And I think we should have people in our lives that are not doing well, people that are struggling, people that are not believers, right? And so am I working on that? I have to think about that. But
love on them.
Yeah, just be friends. Just don't be weird. Just be friends. And eventually people will see that people are not stupid. I mean, people that are not Christians, they can see when you have joy, and when you, especially through hard times, you see people that are struggling, people that are having horrible things happen, and their faith is strong, and that's a real witness to people that are not believers, right? So anyway, so that was the weekend, and then that, so we were talking about what was the unforgivable sin. Do you know what the unforgivable sin is?
Oh, we'll get there. I want to hop in and interrupt here a second, do a little plug. I filled my first job with.
Speaking of interrupting,
we'll talk about that. Okay. We have that in the notes.
Okay.
We did a poll and our little yearly review.
So upset. So disappointed in himself.
I filled my first job with Furiously Curious Recruiting last week, so that was exciting. And I got some more jobs listed as well for some legitimately good companies. And so I'll list some of those here. So if you or your cousin or your buddy or whatever is interested in any of these jobs, reach out to me and maybe we'll get them filled. But it's cool to fill the first one up, and I think people are seeing as well because of the.
What was the role?
A CAD drawer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody called you looking for work?
Yeah, I knew. I think I called them and I asked if there was anybody they knew, and so nice. I filled it pretty quickly. But I mean, on Indeed, anybody that's hiring on trying to find jobs on Indeed, it's just terrible. To get good people applying for jobs.
We do not get good people. We have an Indeed posting right now for that mechanic job. It is a struggle. Exactly. I do not get it.
Exactly. So if you're a company and you want good people, if you advertise here on the podcast, reach out to me. And then the likelihood of the people listening here have the same values as me and Gary do. I'm not sure if you think those are good values or not, but they'll probably show up to work on time and work hard and do a good job. So
unless you're like me, then you'll be late.
To everything.
It drives Kyle crazy. And it's fair. It is disrespectful.
But not disrespectful enough to change.
No.
But God's working on you.
Fashionably late.
Okay, so water systems installer, well water pumps, treatment, installation, maintenance, ideal for handyman with experience. This is the one I mentioned, previous ones, $40 an hour. Also open to an apprentice, 18, 20 years old. It's eager to learn, $25 an hour. Small company with a solid team vibe. I know the owner, great guys. So if you're interested in that, another one is heavy duty mechanic, but not just trucks, like grinders, big stuff, screeners, loaders, big stuff like you need to be welding, hydraulic experience. No red steel required though. That's $45 an hour. Benefits. So if you're interested in that, reach out to me. And then also an HR generalist. And all these jobs are, by the way, Chilliwack based, but this is probably more of a female role, I'm guessing. I mean, guys do this as well, but strong administrative skills a must. Responsibilities, recruiting, job grants, benefits, onboarding, offboarding, company events, safety
Why
training.
couldn't a guy do that?
You could, but usually they don't. Most companies usually it's a girl that does.
Okay.
Better at administration and stuff like that.
Actually, women are better at administration.
I think in general, most companies I work at usually that's who fills those roles. So.
Okay, fair enough.
Monday to Friday, 1 day remote, a week is
okay.
okay. 50 to 60 grand a year. on that one. So if you're interested in those, reach out, Kyle, at curious.co, or text me 604-703-9045, and maybe we'll get you hooked up. Or if you want to advertise a job, reach out to me there.
Okay.
Anyways, you said
the
unforgivable sin.
Yeah, what is the unforgivable sin?
From my understanding, it's sin against the Holy Spirit, which is when you have had knowledge of Christ and like had faith in him, so to speak, and you tasted the sweetness of the gospel, and then fully reject it and walk away from the faith and say you want nothing to do with it anymore, and fully go into the opposite direction. That you have, that is an unforgivable sin. That's the explanation I've heard, and makes most sense to me. But it's not. I don't think it is someone who is, in church and wants to be saved, and people are scared. I've heard people growing up, at least, that thought maybe they've done an unforgivable sin, and that God doesn't want to forgive them anymore. But I don't think that's the case. I think it's when you're actively rejecting everything to do with Christ and the gospel. So
interesting.
What do you think it is?
Don't have an opinion. Don't. I asked.
You must have had an opinion on
we
Sunday.
had a long discussion about it.
You didn't have an opinion on Sunday?
Not really. I mean, I just kind of thought, I'm rationalizing the idea of like, hey, come unto me, all who are heavy laden, or, whoever calls upon the name of the Lord will be saved. Those verses and we read through the text, and we had the Bible open on Sunday. It was just like, I think it comes from Matthew 12, if I'm not mistaken. And I could find it, a little unorganized, so I could find it, but worth reading through yourself. And it talks about it. It's just like, and this is a little dangerous saying this maybe, but it comes back to, even somebody said to me this morning, even the idea of, baptizing infants and just where that comes from. Like, you just really want to be careful grabbing a verse anywhere, hyper focusing on one verse, and then you grabbing a whole doctrine and creating it based on like pulling from one text, right? Like, I think you really want to be taking multiple parts of scripture. So that's where, I can do a deeper dive into the unforgivable sin at a later date and circle back with an opinion. I was just kind of curious.
Next week.
It was definitely talked about when we were kids. It was preached on even. I remember but I don't remember, because I didn't care back then in my heart, just didn't care. Be curious to know why, are there people that literally, are obviously people are rejecting God all the time, right? And Matt thought it had something to do with people that had the mark of the beast, or the idea of people just following, because there's people that literally worship Satan. There's people that their whole and that's come up recently, even with friends of mine. And it's something that we were never taught or I don't feel like it wasn't focused on a lot as kids. But the idea of how important spiritual warfare is, right? And the idea of how the spirit moves and those types of things, right?
And we fight against principalities and powers.
Yeah, a friend of mine sent me a podcast. I haven't listened to it yet. I will, but it's just like this. Yeah.
Every night I go to
that is the battle, right?
Yeah.
That's the place it is. It says that very clearly in the Bible. We don't live that way, right? And I think there again, a lot of it's just tied to how we were brought up. We're brought up so pragmatic and so practical.
Well, the Holy Spirit also wasn't talked about a lot. Like, both spirits weren't talked about. Not the Holy Spirit, but also not the spirit of Satan and demons.
Even though the entire New Testament, if you read through Paul and you read Paul's writing especially, but just a lot of the New Testament talks about, it's bizarre how it talks about the indwelling of the Spirit and all these things that are like, has anything changed?
I'll share a story here that I'm kind of nervous to share.
Don't say it. Think about it. I tell you, always wait a day.
No, I'll share it. Okay. I'm comfortable enough that I've shared it with enough people, but it is kind of like, it was wild. So I was separated from Nicole, and I was renting an Airbnb in Harrison, and we didn't want the kids to switch houses. So the kids always stayed, and me and Nicole swapped. And Nicole went to this place, and she said to me, she goes, I don't feel comfortable here. Like, it just feels weird. Like there's something off here. And like she just didn't like the vibes of the place, whatever. And she was completely off. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And I knew on the fridge there was like some weird statue thing, but I flipped around just in case, whatever. I wasn't sure. But anyway, I woke up in the night one time, and there was someone on top of me, and he was all black, and he had like empty eyes, and he had his hands on my neck, and he was trying to choke me out, I felt like getting killed. And I was like laying there, and I couldn't get him off. And I was just like, it was a surreal experience. And Dave Curry, who was our counselor at the time, had taught me that if you feel tempted towards sexual sin, to say the words Jesus Christ out loud, because demons can't, they will flee then because they can't handle his name. And so all I did was just say Jesus Christ out loud over and over. And when I started doing that, bang, it was gone. And like I checked the house, checked everywhere else like that, and that was it. But it was a time when there was like crazy warfare going on in just the marriage and trying to repair it and stuff like that. And
I find that
it was
just crazy.
I've met one other person. It was actually Trey's wife. When I went down to Oklahoma a couple of weeks ago, that I told them that story, and she had the same thing when she was in Japan at a house that was really weird when they live in Japan, but when he was stationed there. But she had it too, and she had never met anybody else that had that, and yeah, it was just.
You see it when you're a realtor because you show places, and I've been in places, and I know people moved into those houses since, and I've heard of people that have like brought their leaders in their church over and elders and stuff to pray in their house, and just like there's definitely. People do a lot of awful things, right? And there's witches, and I mean, I could really get in the weeds, but just when you lead freedom sessions, you hear a lot. People do a lot of dark things, and Satan loves darkness, right? And it's just like this idea of like, there's a lot of awful things happening, right? Just having a lot of memories now with all the weird houses that I've
shown.
Oh yeah, just weird. I put another interesting thought I had. What's your view on kids getting birthday presents for other kids? Kids go to other kids' birthday parties. What's the expectation of a birthday present?
I think Nicole does it right now. It's like $25, whatever.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. I would like to start a petition that from now on, kids go to other kids' birthday parties and they get them nothing.
Right.
It's like the kid's not buying the present, the parents are. And it's not fair. So my son, I took him to the
And also, these kids get freaking spoiled because they invite 10 kids over and they're just loaded with gifts.
Well, it's just not affordable. It's not affordable for families. That's how I feel. I just don't think it and then the kids just. What's he excited for? Like, he's not excited for his buddies coming over. He's excited because of the $250 of the presents that he's getting.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just feel it's unfair to parents. You invite a kid, and I don't know. Like I say, maybe I'll normalize it. Where just our daughter went to a party the other day for a kid in her class. Yeah. And the parents, it was kindergarten. They were turning 6. It was a summer party, and the mom said, "Hey, bring $6 if you want." I'm like, "Hey, $6." Still, like there again, people are tight.
Bring
right?
$6. It's a very specific number.
Well, because he was turning 6, right?
Oh, okay.
And she was buying something for him, right? And it was just there again. It's like $6 is a lot, but it's nothing compared to $25. It's a quarter of the money. And like Noah, had his birthday, his 11th birthday. I took him and his buddies to Agassiz Speedway on Saturday night from school. It was great. It was a great time. Great place to go, by the way, with your kids.
I want to race my Tesla there.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work on the circular track. I couldn't.
Not the circular track. The standing quarter mile.
This is not that. This is the Agassiz Speedway.
Agassiz.
And it's a loop.
Oh, okay.
And it's stock car racing, and it's good fun.
Okay.
And like there was a 100-lap race at one point. We'll just be like.
Can anybody enter?
No. I mean, you could be a part of it if you want.
Get a stock car, yeah.
Yeah, but you can go watch, and it's just good, clean fun on a Saturday night. Anyways, usually 6 to 10 every other week. But I took him, and one of his kids in his class, like his parents, I don't think they're that well off. And he just bought him like a Nerf gun that I don't know what it costs. I haven't checked, but just seemed really extravagant. And that's what set me off. I felt bad for these people, right?
There's often a lot of pressure that way too, like that for people to show up and then they hurt themselves because they can't handle the stress.
Now, on the other side of it, is it just the family that's their love language? They love giving gifts. Hey, we buy gifts for kids. Let's spoil these kids. I mean, in our family, we make birthdays a big deal, and we do buy a lot because we really don't do Christmas presents hardly in our house. So we're like, hey, we're just going to buy.
What about wedding gifts?
I like wedding gifts. Yeah.
That's worth, what's the
difference?
What's the budget there? Yeah. What's the difference?
There's no budget for whatever. It's whatever, like depending on the circumstance, depending on who it is. I just think it's I'm a big fan of marriage. I'm a big fan of blessing people when they get married, but I mean, I don't get invited to very many weddings because I don't have very many friends. So it's not a big deal. I can go a little.
You keep everyone's arm's length.
Keep everybody at arm's length. Yeah.
Close enough to deal with, not close enough to really know you.
To know me. Yeah. Superficial. Flakered in a $3 bill. No, it's funny that you say that. I do not. What's that?
Flakered in a $3
I do not get invited. We do not get invited to that many weddings. So, considering that I have over 5,000 contacts in my phone.
Okay.
But a lot of people are just kind of associates and stuff. Another thing that was interesting,
well, you're also out of the age group now too. Once your kids start getting married, then you'll get invited to weddings again because you get invited to their friends' weddings, and then you're going to start getting invited to all the funerals.
Okay, it's better to be in a house of mourning than a house of laughter. I think it's good to go to funerals.
Yeah, than a house of feasting.
House of feasting.
Depends on the.
Another interesting thing
version.
that I noticed this week was that it looks like in the UK, they're lowering the voting age to 16.
Oh boy.
What do you think of lowering the voting age? Should we lower the vote? It's talked about in Canada.
No, we should raise it to 21.
Okay.
Like in the US, you can't buy alcohol until you're 21. Why should you be able to vote? And
Well,
like you need to know,
help shape the direction of the country.
Yeah.
When you're not even old enough to drink alcohol or drive a car.
You go to an average 16-year-old, what they think about things.
Dumber than a post.
No, it's
when
terrible.
I was 16, I had the IQ of a small farm.
It's terrible. No, I mean, it's pushed by liberals so they can get in more because you can tell them, hey, we're going to give you all kinds of crap.
Free stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, definitely a lot of people venting about it for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the UK is going to crap anyway. It's already messed up. There's nothing left in the country.
Okay. Oh, you still wanted to react to the real say?
Yeah, I'll still get that. Yeah. But if you're crushing it at work, but everything else taking a hit, your health, your marriage, your time with your kids, then I want you to hear this. You don't have to keep living that way. That was me, and getting coached was really helped me starting to show up differently in every part of my life. So now I coach others to do the same way. So I do a 10-week program. Just finished with a guy. I'll read his probably testimonial pretty soon here. And he literally said to me, you changed my life. I didn't change his life, actually, like the coaching did. But there's some common questions that people have that I'll answer here because a lot of the people don't actually understand what I'm doing. And so I'll tell the story how I got into it. And I've shared the story before, but I wanted to be CEO of MDT. And so I went to Martin and told him that. And he said, nope, get coached first. See if that's actually something you want to do. So he connected me with Kim Addis out of Toronto, a high-end coach. And she's like, I'm going to take you through a 10-week coaching program. And so I had to go on her online software every day and journal. And on a journal prompt that she provided. And so I journal whatever and publish it.
What year is that in?
2021.
Okay.
And so I'd publish it, and then she could comment on it and ask questions. And I would journal every single day. And then the journal prompt would also change every week. So week 1 is about your mood, week 2 about your beliefs, week 3 about your relationships. And then in addition to that, there was a call every week that I was encouraged to listen back to.
Okay.
And that literally changed my life, those 10 weeks, because that set me on a trajectory of awareness. Like the biggest thing you get from coaching is awareness. And so like, for example, on the CEO thing, she's like, why do you want to be CEO? I was like, I don't know. I want to move up. She goes, well, how is CEO up? Like by what measurement is that standard? Up?
Interesting.
And I'm like, oh, I don't know. And she's like, are you going to get paid more? I said, no. And she's like, are you going to enjoy the work more? I said, no. She's like, well, why do you want to do it? And I realized that
the title,
it was just for status. And she's like, is that actually why you want this job? Just for status? I'm like, no, not really. She's like, well, what do you want to do? And so I had to go figure that out and realize that like, hey, I was going to go pursue this job that I didn't actually want to go do at all. But then there was other stuff that came out of it too. Week 2, she goes, what's most important to you? And I said, God, and then family and the work. And then in week 6, she goes to me, Kyle, I think that's bullshit. I think work's most important to you. I'm like, no, it's not. God is definitely most important. She goes, well, all you do is work. Your actions show what you believe. And so it really challenged me on that way. Like actually look at like what is most important to me. And so I can make the change. And she's like, I don't care. I'm a Jew. I don't care what you put first. Just don't bullshit yourself. She also asked about my marriage. She's like, is your marriage good? And I'm like, yeah, it's all right. She's like, does Nicole know everything about you? I'm like, no. What doesn't she know? She didn't know that I was being unfaithful. She's like, well, is that going to help you get an epic marriage? And I was like, nope. And so that set me on a trajectory to change that as well. And so it just has completely changed my life. I got all the training myself to be a coach myself, not to become a coach, but just to be a better leader at MDT. And then in the fall of, I think 22, a guy tried to hire me out of Alberta. I said, how about I coach you instead? And I did that. And after 10 weeks, he said, I changed his life. And so another guy asked me, ended up taking a sabbatical from MDT, and then I do it now full time. So it is awesome. It gives you amazing awareness. It's super cheap. It costs $15,000 US to do the coaching with me, 10-week program. And sometimes people have a sticker shock on that. But I'm like, if I have the cure to cancer, would it be moral for me to withhold it from you? If you had cancer?
Are you comparing your coaching to curing cancer?
Just answer the question.
No, it would not be more.
It wouldn't be moral for me to withhold it. No, exactly. And so the coaching I offer isn't like having cancer, but except for if in 20 years you don't have a relationship with your kids, that's a cancer-like problem. And 20 years from now, if you have like just a great big company, but nothing else, that's a cancer-like problem. And so like there's just amazing awareness you can get on this stuff. And so what do we work on? It's whatever your pain point is. I don't decide what your pain point is. I don't decide what you do. I don't rarely share my opinion. I just ask questions. It's 100% confidential, and give you clarity on where you want to go. And it will literally change your life. You'll become more profitable in your business for sure. I know a lot about business and I ask good questions.
Do you have a money back guarantee?
And I have a full money back guarantee.
Okay.
Yes, I do have a full money back guarantee. But also your relationships will get better and you'll be happier. So people also ask, is God involved? Like Christianity. You talk a lot about Christianity. I have clients that never comes up. They don't want to talk about it. They don't care about it. So their values and actions are aligned and help them just on their business. That's totally fine. Other guys that are open to talking about it, we talk about it, and that's a big part of what we talk about. And so it just really depends on where you want to go. So if you have more questions about it and just want to know more, text me 604-703-9045. Say, hey, I love to chat more about the coaching. No pressure, just to see if it's a fit. But yeah, full money back guarantee, and it is literally life changing, and it's a ton of fun. So would love to work with anybody that is interested in that.
It's fascinating. I had a fellow this morning that I talked to, and he has the same thought process as me. It's actually very, I don't say disturbing, but just like frustrating for me. And it was interesting listening to someone else say exactly what I say. And I've said it to Marie before, and I am changing. But he said, I know that in 10 or 15 years from now, I'm going to look back on this time and realize that I should have spent more time with my kids and work less. And this is something that's doing very well. They have a great business. Just totally fine. Yeah. And it's just self-aware enough to realize already in hindsight that we're making a mistake now, but still incapable of actually taking the step, which is very difficult to do.
And that's what the coaching will change.
It'll actually help you make the step.
Yeah, it'll help make you the step, because the guys know what they're doing wrong. Guys know what they're struggling with. They can probably even fix themselves, but they still feel stuck for some reason. They still can't make the switch. That's why I want you to text Kim. Yeah. And I'm disappointed you haven't.
Do you feel I'm very stuck?
Yeah, you are, because you keep saying the same thing. You keep saying,
I am literally making action. Like, even if I look at the amount of time spent with kids and just
I have seen it.
And I took my boy to work the other day, and it's frustrating, right? But who's the dad I want to be? I want to be the dad, and I'm not good at it. I'll never be as good as my father-in-law. My father-in-law is amazing at, taking my kids and working with them. He's just a good teacher. He's patient. He's just really good at explaining.
But if you could go to the store and you could buy yourself to be 20% better of a dad, that's a lot, 20%. It might not be perfect, but 20% is a lot. And it only costs you $15,000. You would go to the store right now and buy that right away. Right. And so you can get that in 10 weeks if you work with Kim or if you work with me. Okay. It is.
We're selling hard today. You're a pure salesman mode. I love it.
It's not salesman, it's reality. It really makes sense. I really believe in it. So, and I really believe it actually really helps people. So
people
you give way more value.
People appreciate it. The people I talk to that have gotten coached in different formats. And like I say, I think for me, even the idea of, hey, you do an authentic life plan, a freedom session, you're doing some of those things, some of those steps of kind of realizing, hey, where am I investing my time? Similar to what you would say, where it's like, hey, you can say whatever you want, but your actions are speaking so loud we can't hear what you're saying, right? And there's been a lot of that in my life too, big talker, right? Yeah. And
so it's really I'm happy you brought that up. That you're saying, hey, I'm aware, and they're still stuck. That's the key. I knew when I was getting coached that there was a lot of crap in my life that wasn't right, and still I kept going with it because you just you don't know what your first step is. So, anyways, you want to say something before we watch this video?
Well, I have a question. You have Epstein on here.
Yes.
Can you talk about Epstein and why you put Epstein on the show notes?
Because it's all over the internet as well. And this week, so when Trump campaigned for president, him and all of his guys, like Kash Patel, who's the FBI director now, and Pam Bondi, who's the head of the attorney general, whatever, they all campaigned saying, hey, we're going to release all the files on Jeffrey Epstein, everything.
Yes.
So they got in, and we're waiting. And all of a sudden now, Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and Dan Bangoni, who was the guy right beside Kash Patel, said, hey, we did an investigation, and there's no list. He didn't kill himself. It's all fine. There's nothing there. And
He didn't kill himself?
that's what they're saying. Yeah. They said there's proof he didn't kill himself. It was actual suicide.
But they're not releasing the files.
And they're not releasing the files. There's nothing to release. There's nothing to say. And everyone's like, this is total bullshit. Like, this makes no sense. And Trump's like saying, why are we still talking about Epstein and stuff like that? So everyone realizes it's a hardcore cover up. And so now Trump said, okay, they are going to release the files. I want them out tomorrow. Tomorrow came. No files got released. And so people are saying that Trump's in the files. That's why he's not getting it released. I don't really buy that, because the Democrats would have released it then for when they were in to try to get him. I don't
think anyone wants to be smeared with that brush.
Yeah,
that's a nasty brush. You can do your own research on who Jeffrey Epstein was. Yeah. I mean, I don't follow it that closely.
From everything it points to, from mine, it
doesn't look good that he's not releasing them. Is that the moral of the story?
Yeah, I think it's more that I think it looks like I think it's a honeypot. Like, I think it was used for espionage and like getting really high profile people to
do the wrong thing,
get it on video and use it against them. That it was like done by like the CIA and Mossad and all those guys. But
awful.
Yeah, it's just awful stuff that he did. Yeah. Anyway, that's why it was in there. Okay, we are gonna watch. It's a 2-minute and 54-minute video that Ram put together. I'm not sure what's all in here, but we'll play it on the video as well.
This is the compilation of
all the first 50 episodes that we did together of all this stuff. And then there's some stats to read afterwards. But so here, I'll back this up. Let's see what we got here.
I got to get back to the barn. What time are we at here?
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Briefcase in this barn.
You're good.
Compilation of the funniest
texts. She goes like, "You're so good at listening to people when you're doing your coaching and everything else like that." And
Can't listen to me for 30 seconds.
You barely listen to me, and I'm like, "Dang,
pay me more, woman." We're just walking in the garden, right?
Yeah.
Like Adam and Eve, right?
Yeah.
Like with the clothes on, and just like kind of like.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah. I said to my mom, like, we pray before the podcast, you know. She's like, "Oh, I can tell. It would be way worse if you didn't." She said. I think there's probably people that are Christians that would say,
that
"Hey,
make $300,000 in selling a farm." That's what the market gives them.
If they made that much, I wouldn't be sitting here with you, sunshine. But what makes your wife feel treasured? I got a bad
cold. Time. I'm saying probably. This is scary.
Oh, she's in deep trouble. Whenever I sold the bull, Marie would always like throw a bomb at me, right? Oh, I hope he's a better breeder than you are.
I think a lot of people are waiting for the boomers to pass away, so a lot of their money and assets can be transferred to the next generation.
Well, I'm waiting. You are the epitome of a Dutch person.
Big nose,
big
forehead,
big
pocket. We're gonna move on to smelling salts. Snap this thing and then just take a whiff.
Oh, I've never watched. And then go.
Yeah, snap it.
Okay. Son of a beater. They got Afroman in the background. It's so bad. Ready to go score the overtime goal now.
Holland has higher taxes than we have.
Are you sure?
No. I just know they pay super high taxes. We do give Malachi an allowance of his age, $6 a week.
Are you sure that's okay?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Initially, just told you to get rid of your filter and just be yourself.
Yeah, then I started being myself, and she's like, "Whoa, back the bus up. Put that guy back in the barn." Now we're getting into women's fertility, and I really get crapped on when I start talking about that in the podcast. That's when the ladies come after me.
Did you have any idea before you got married that you were infertile?
No, I didn't know.
No, you feel like you should have known? Genuine question. I don't know.
I never watched it.
You're dancing around this.
Rend your clothes. People only want to listen to so much talk about Gary Seaman, right? Like, just some old sassy 65-year-old crazy horse lady sends me a nice Christmas card. Yeah, I wish you and your family the best. Here's some of the nasty hay you sold me. You said if my animals wouldn't eat it, you will, so I hope you enjoy your snack.
My son in middle school punched someone for bugging him about his academic level.
My advice is to beat him like a piñata at a fiesta. That's why they say weird things like, just relax when you can't get pregnant. They should tell you just relax when you're pregnant. Weird stuff, right?
Yeah.
I am relaxed.
So how do you love yourself? Do you love yourself?
I think I do, yeah. My wife would say I'm in love with myself. Oh, shit.
So that was your highlights of
That's actually pretty funny.
Year one. Anyways, okay. Who talked more? Me or you? We crunched numbers from the first 50 episodes. Get this. Gary technically spoke more words than I did, about 584 to be exact, but I jumped in more often. And so I had more speaking turns, 736 more speaking turns. So you gave longer rants. I basically interrupted more. Who asked more questions? You asked 1,296 questions. I asked 2,365. So I asked 82% more questions.
You're a coach. You should ask more questions.
Yeah. Your signature word was obviously. Mine was I think. And you say obviously all the time, I guess. I think. Okay, and then who interrupted more? We did the poll online. I did it on my social media. This is very downing. I did not know this was the case. 65% of the people say I interrupted more. Yeah. And you got 34%. So
can she tell who interrupted more? No. Be hard to tell what an interruption
No, they did it through transcripts, and you have to upload the audio then to figure out who uploaded more. And we can, I'm sure there's a way to do that, but we didn't get that far. So anyways, that was year one.
Sorry, how would she have grabbed those clips and put all those clips together?
That was manually. That took a lot of work. That was our great team of Mary and Ram.
Okay, I like I like the, I was going to say handicap look that you give, but just the, like,
that'll be
well, you only did it one time, but you keep pounding it in.
Yeah, Ram did that. We do upload all the behind the scenes on
the Patreon.
On the Patreon. So if you want to get these the first
the best clips of the podcast are always the 2 minutes before it starts and the 2 minutes after.
Yeah. So patreon.com/furiously
One
curious.
day I will be completely free to say whatever I want when I'm an old man, and it'll be really entertaining.
It'll be a long time from now.
Well, I just always hold back, right? Which is so good. It's so important.
Yeah.
You think I offend the one Dutch guy now that's pissed off at me, but can you imagine the swaths of people that I'd offend if I said what I really thought? Disaster.
Anyways, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting the show.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Like and share it with friends and family.
Have a great week.
And see you next week.
Keep your stick on the ice.
Peace.
Red green, man.
Oh, the red green show.
Oh, I love it. My son loves it. The women don't find you handsome. You should find
you handy.
You gotta find you handy.
Duct tape. We used to put a wire in the back of the TV.
You can watch those clips, man. My son loves watching
YouTube.
Yeah, and I watched it as a kid with my mom and dad. So.
I should let my kids watch that.
Yeah, it's great TV. They don't make TV like that anymore. Yeah, I think so. I think it's just all over YouTube. CBC, right? Everything's free. $1 billion deficit a year. Taxpayer money pissing away on Canadian content. Disaster.
Canada is screwed.
We're in deep trouble. Deficit spending. Buy gold and silver, baby.
Or so something. You're doing physical, or you buy
physical.
I did at one point. I had $50,000 worth of silver in my dad.
Silver is a tough one. People that buy silver and usually eventually regret it, but right now it's on a heater. So it's the end of the podcast, Kyle. Time for me to get back to the barn.
We're done.
No, this is all part of it.
This is all part of it.
Yeah. Have a great week. Great week. We'll read the chapter right now, so I read it.